Hello, this is Papa B reading, and I'm going to be reading from the book The Magicians Nephew, which is part of the HarperCollins The Complete Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. And I'm in chapter 10, and it's called The First Joke and Other Matters. It was, of course, the lion's voice. The children had long felt sure that he could speak, yet it was a lovely and terrible shock when he did. Out of the trees, wild people stepped forth, gods and goddesses of the wood. With them came fauns and satyrs and dwarfs. Out of the river rose the river god with his naiad daughters. And all these and all the beasts and birds in their different voices, low or high or thick or clear, replied, "Hail, Aslan! We hear and obey. We are awake. We love. We think. We speak. We know. But please, we don't know very much yet," said a nosy and snorty kind of voice. And that was really, did make the children jump, for it was the cab horse who had spoken. "Good old Strawberry," said Polly. "I'm glad he was one of the ones picked out to be a talking beast." And the cabbie, who was now standing beside the children, said, "Strike me pink! I always did say that os had a lot of sense, though." "Creatures, I give you yourselves," said the strong, happy voice of Aslan. "I give to you forever this land of Narnia. I give you the woods, the fruits, the rivers. I give you the stars, and I give you myself. The dumb beasts whom I have not chosen are yours also. Treat them gently and cherish them, but do not go back to their ways, lest you cease to be talking beast. For out of them you were taken, and into them you can return. Do not so." "No, Aslan, we won't," said everyone. But one perky jackdaw added in a loud voice, "No fear," and everyone else had finished just before he said it, so that his words came out quite clear in a dead silence. And perhaps you have found out how awful that can be, say at a party. The jackdaw became so embarrassed that it hid its head under its wings as if it were going to sleep, and all the animals began making various queer noises, which are their ways of laughing, and which, of course, no one had ever heard in our world. They tried at first to repress it, but Aslan said, "Laugh, and fear not, creatures. Now that you are no longer dumb and witless, you need not always be grave, for jokes as well as justice come in with speech." So they all let themselves go, and there was such a merriment that the jackdaw himself plucked up courage again and perched on the cab horse's head between its ears, and clapping its wings and said, "Aslan, Aslan, have I made the first joke? Will everybody always be told how I made the first joke?" "No, little friend," said the lion, "you have not made the first joke. You have only been the first joke." Then everyone laughed more than ever. But the jackdaw didn't mind and laughed just as loud till the horse shook its head, and the jackdaw lost its balance and fell off, but remembered its wings, they were still new to it, before it reached the ground. "And now," said Aslan, "Narnia is established, but we must next take thought for keeping it safe. I will call some of you to my council. Come hither to me, you the chief dwarf, and you the river god, and you oak, and the he-owl, and both the ravens and the bull elephant. We must talk together, for though the world is not 5 hours old, an evil has already entered it." The creatures he had named came forward, and he turned away eastward with them. The others all began talking, saying things like, "What did he say had entered the world? An evil? What's an evil? No, he didn't say an evil, he said a weevil. Well, what's that?" "Look here," said Diggory to Polly. "I've got to go after him. Aslan, the lion. I must speak to him. Do you think we can, said Polly. I wouldn't dare. I've got to, said Diggory. It's all about Mother. If anyone can give me something that would do her good, it will be him. I'll come along with you, said the cabby. I like the looks of him, and I don't reckon these other beasts will go for us. And I want a word with old Strawberry. So all three of them stepped out boldly, or as boldly as they could, toward the assembly of animals. The creatures were so busy talking to one another and making friends that they didn't notice the three humans until they were very close, nor did they hear Uncle Andrew, who was standing, trembling in his button shoes, a good way off, and shouting, but by no means at the top of his voice, Diggory, come back at once. When you're told, I forbid you go a step further. When at last they were right in among the animals all stopped talking and stared at him. Well, said the he-beaver at last, what in the name of Aslan are these? Please, began Diggory in rather a breathless voice, when a rabbit said, they're a kind of large lettuce, that's my belief. No, we're not. Honestly, we're not, said Polly hastily. We're not at all nice to eat. There, said the mole, they can talk. Who ever heard of a talking lettuce? Perhaps they're the second joke, suggested the jackdaw. A panther, who had been washing its face, stopped for a moment to say, well, if they are, they're nothing like so good as the first one. At least, I don't see anything very funny about them. It yawned and went on with its wash. Oh, please, said Diggory, I'm in such a hurry, I want to see the lion. All this time the cabby had been trying to catch Strawberry's eye. Now he did. Now, Strawberry, old boy, he said, you know me. You ain't going to stand there and say you don't know me. Well, what's the thing talking about, horse? Said several voices. Well, said Strawberry, very slowly, I don't exactly know. I think most of us don't know much about anything yet, but I've a sort of idea I've seen a thing like this before. I've a feeling I lived somewhere else, or was something else, before Aslan woke us all up a few minutes ago. It's all very muddled, like a dream, but there were things like these three in the dream. What, said the cabby? You know me. Me what used to bring you a hot mash in an evening when you was out of sorts. Me what rubbed you down proper. Me what never forgot to put your cloth on you if you was standing in the cold. I wouldn't have thought of it of you, Strawberry. It does come back to me, said the horse thoughtfully. Yes, let me think now, let me think. Yes, you used to tie a horrid black thing behind me and then hit me to make me run. And however far I ran, this little black thing would always be coming rattle behind me. We add to our living to earn, see, said the cabby, and yours the same as mine. And if there hadn't been no work and no whip, there'd have been no stable, no hay, no mash, and no oats. But you did get a taste of oats when I could afford 'em, which no one can deny. Oats, said the horse, picking up his ears. Yes, I remember something about that. Yes, I remember more and more. You were always sitting up somewhere behind, and I was always running in front, pulling you and the black thing. I know I did all the work. Summer, I grant you, said the cabby, or work for you and a cool seat for me. But what about winter, old boy? When you was keeping yourself warm, and I was sitting up there with my feet like ice and my nose fair pinched off me with the wind, and my hands that numb I could hardly hold the reins. It was a hard, cruel country, said Strawberry. There was no grass, all hard stones. True, said the cabby. A hard world it was. I always did say those paving stones weren't fair on any 'oss. That's London. That is, I don't like it no more than you did. You were a country horse, and I was a country man. Used to sing in the choir I did down at home, but there wasn't a living for me there. And this is Papa B reading, and this ends the first part of chapter 10 which is called The First Joke and Other Matters, the first, chapter 10 of The Magician's Nephew, again part of the complete Chronicles of Narnia. And please come back and let me read to you again.